everyone, videos A32 back here today with another How to Play. Today we're looking at how to play Hit Extreme from Pixie Games and designed by Miranda, art by Vincent Berger. I believe it's the same art as the previous Hit game. This is a more, as it says, extreme version, if you will. It's also, I believe there's a No Mercy Extreme version as well, because there's different names out there for the game. And it's a push-your-luck game. It's just more or less the same as the previous version, except they've added some special cards that do different things. So, like in the previous game, you're going to be flipping cards off the top of the deck when it's your turn. And so I got a 9, and then I can keep going. I got a 7. I'll talk about the lucky part in a minute. A 1. And you can keep going. Oh, if you get 2 that are the same, as long as it's, like beyond the third one, then you bust and all these cards get discarded. However, if I hadn't busted, if I had stopped, I could collect these and put them into a score pile. And if things had lined up differently, if, let's say, I drew 1 and then this one, and then I got the 1. Because it's within the first 3, I don't bust. It's only if it's beyond the first 3 cards. If you get a duplicate, you will bust, so I could keep going. Oh, look at that. I would have busted again. But let's say I stopped and I collected these. And I would collect them. The next player would then go, and they would draw cards. And here's where it gets interesting. Oh, they draw 1. They can actually take my 1s. If they stop and, don't bust. Well, they can still bust, but they're going to take my 1s. This doesn't count with a duplicate. I get a 4, a 6, and let's say they stop there. They collect these cards. And then the next person would go, and maybe this person's over here. They're going to draw a card. It's a 6. They're going to take the 6. Draw another card. It's an 8. They draw another card, it's an 8, that's fine. They don't bust, they can go again. Now they're going to stop and they're going to collect these cards. Once it gets back to my turn, I will then take the cards that I've collected and put them into my score pile face down, and I will draw again. Keep doing this going around the table. Here's where things get interesting. It's with all the special cards, such as this Lucky. If I'm doing this and, Let's say I stop here and I collect these cards. The Lucky, the number 7 Lucky, I automatically put into my score pile and do not risk it getting stolen by another player. But there's more cards. As I mentioned, the game plays, I believe it's 2 to 4 players, 2 to 5 players, ages 8 and up in about 15 minutes. As I said, there's more special cards. I'll explain right now. We have the Elixir, which is a number 4, but there's also regular number 4s. These are not the same card, and you cannot bust by drawing these 2 at the same time. They're different 4s, at least as far as I know. You don't bust. It's not the same card. The Elixir is an interesting card. When you draw this card, the Elixir, you must immediately give it to another player of your choice. And they have to put this in front of him. So this guy, let's say he draws that, he gives it to this player. And you can have more than one Elixir card in front of you too. But what happens is, when you begin your turn, if you have an Elixir card in front of you, you must only add those to your scoring pile. So under normal circumstances, this guy's going to take his cards, put them into a scoring pile. However, if he gets this Elixir card, give it to him. Now, when it comes to his turn, he's only going to put this in his scoring pile. So it kind of, it's a little bit of a take that thing. It can hurt you a little bit in terms of what you can score. You can only score that one card if you have an Elixir card. Then there is the Duel, the number 5, the Duel. This one, when you draw this, if anyone around the table has a Duel card face up in front of him, they may add that to their scoring piles. You can never put a Duel into a scoring pile outside of that. So, for instance, if I have this in front of me and it comes back to me, I can put these into my score pile. I cannot put this one. The only way I can put that one into my score pile is if a person draws a duel. They draw a duel, now I can put this into my scoring pile. So, hopefully that makes sense. The elixir, the elixir, if you get an elixir, you can only bank the elixir on your turn. The duel, you can only bank when somebody reveals a duel card. There's that one. I'll bank that one. The lucky, if I didn't mention before, if you collect this card and you don't bust or anything like that, you collect it, you automatically put it into your score pile. Let's say I collect this one. There's a -7 loser card. This is a -7 point card, which you probably want to avoid. They played the same as any other card, so I draw that one and I keep going. And oh, I actually don't bust because I got free cards. And maybe I want to bust because I got -14, but maybe I keep going. Um, the other thing is, let's say this player has a loser card in front of them, all right? And I draw my cards, and I flip a card, and I do that. I have to take their -7, whether I want to or not. So then maybe I do that, and then I have to collect all these cards and put them, and these ones would be gone, except for the duel. Put them into my score pile. And so, the way it works, actually this would get, because I revealed the duel, the way it works is, if another player were to reveal a -7 card, they would steal my -7 cards, which is kind of nifty, especially if you have multiple. So I'm kind of hoping somebody else draws -7s. And man, these cards are all upside down. He draws 2 6s, that's fine. Draws a 2, he draws again. Ooh, he's got that -7, and he stops maybe, and he has to take my -7s. Wah, wah. And of course, he would have collected these into the score pile ages ago. I'm just not really keeping track of that. So then this guy's going to go, he's going to do stuff. So those are basically the special cards. The lucky 7, if you get this one, you bank it immediately. The duel, you can only bank if somebody else flips a duel. The elixir, if you have it, you can only bank that one at the start of your turn. And there is the loser, which if you draw a loser, -7 card, and somebody else has one, you have to take the loser cards. But there's more, because those are the special cards, but there's also free action cards right here. And so what happens is, if you flip these cards over, I have to flip over a bank, what happens is I may immediately pick up, let's say this guy draws the bank card. He can immediately take all cards of one value that he has in front of him and bank them. So if he happened to have these 2 8s, he can immediately bank them. Of course, if it was his turn, he would have banked all those cards anyway, but I guess it would be if he stole them, or if he had them here, he could just immediately bank those and not bust. Then he would discard that. The hold-up. When you get this, you can immediately steal from another player all face-up cards of the value of your choice. They have to be the same value. So this guy draws a hold-up, and he's going to say, you know what, I'm going to take these 6s. And then there's the all-in. The all-in, when you draw this, you can immediately, if you want, you don't have to, but you can decide to draw 3 new cards. And after they're drawn, if you don't have any duplicates, then you can immediately add those cards to your score pile. Ignore any action card that is drawn via that way. So let's say he draws some cards. The elixir, ooh, he got that elixir. 9, and then maybe he gets the hold up, the all in. Now he has to do 3 cards. He doesn't have to, but he can. He gets a hold up. He gets an elixir, so he would have busted. And yeah, So that's kind of how the all it works. It reminds me of a card that is in the game Flip 7, which is another cool puzzle game where if you get it, you have to draw free cards, or you can give it to somebody else and they have to draw free cards. And if it's a duplicate, they bust. Actually, you would have. I think you do it, but anyway, it's a cool game. It's decent quality, but just a smooth plastic coated finish. I think there's already some broken some chips on there because it's black borders. If you like the game, if you like Pussy Lock games, if you like the original hit game, I think you'll like this one. It's basically it's the same idea. You play the same, except you have these special cards and the accent cards that spice things up a little, make it a little bit more extreme, if you will. Hopefully that makes sense, though. Again, you know, let's say I have some cards in front of me. I'll just do a recap. Ooh, look at this. There's a 20. Let's say I have some cards in front of me at the start of my turn. Oops. And we're going around. Let's say it's my turn. I got these cards. I will bank them into my score pile, and then I will proceed to draw again. If I had a duel, I don't bank that one. If I have an elixir, that's the only one I can bank. That is where having an elixir card when you have like a 20 in your hand is bad, because now I can only bank this one, as I mentioned before, and now these ones can be stolen by another player if they happen to get a 20 or a 9 or whatever. Or if they get one of the hold-up cards, they could just steal that from me. So anyways, and then of course, I would have banked those ones though, and then I would have done my drawing of cards, and then I can either stop and collect what I got, or keep going until I bust. Then the next player would go, and then the next player, and you just keep going around the table. At the end of the game, which is once you've gone through the entire deck, you will score up the cards that you have in your hand. Obviously, you're not going to have any accent cards, but you'll score up all the points you have. Whoever has the most points wins. It's pretty simple, straightforward, I think. So that is that. I think that the original one was pretty cool, and it's pretty popular, I think. It's pretty fun, and I think this one's pretty cool, too. You can get this at various game websites. I got it on Board Game Bliss. And that is that. Comment, like, subscribe, and what you think. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Hopefully it makes sense.